I've just returned from an incredible art adventure with the artist Luke Roberts for the opening of his brilliant exhibition, Beyond the Great Divide, at Rockhampton Museum of Art. This exhibition truly reveals what a groundbreaking Australian artist Luke Roberts is. By subverting and liberating the traditions of the church, of gender, of identity, of time, and even querying and questioning whether we are not alone in the universe. However, seeing the work in Rockhampton makes it even more powerful, being close to the place he grew up as a child, Alpha, a place he felt very disconnected from and alienated from as a child. Yet this place has impacted and infiltrated all aspects of his work. Luke is the most meticulous artist. Every detail is considered so deeply and on multiple dimensions. He has spent his life spinning this straw into gold. These details, these ideas, these concepts, these family members, fellow artists' identities, creating his own universe in which everyone belongs and of which he is central to. Let's have a listen to the interview. I've just walked into, I've got to say, and I'm not exaggerating, one of the most dynamic, moving, complex spaces I have seen in contemporary art. This is the opening of Luke Roberts' exhibition, and I'm with Luke here today. How are you, Luke? You're back in your hometown, Rockhampton. How's it feel to see this?
Hometown. This is my school town.
Your school town. You're back in your school town. How are you feeling with this incredible show?
Well, as you can have already alluded to, it's amazing to see my work like this. It's stunning. So I'm a little overwhelmed, as you can imagine.
Yes.
And it's had such a great reception already.
Yeah.
And it's not even open to the public. It's already doing a lot of the things that I would like it to think it could do. And that is changing people's perspectives, even opening up areas in their minds I haven't really knocked on the door of before. Who knows? There's an excitement around it.
Yeah. Let's walk this way because your practice is everything. Performance, it's photography, it's painting.
Yes.
But this is the journey through not your whole career, it's endless.
It's a survey.
How does it all work together for you? You're seeing it all in one place. It's dynamic.
I know. Well, one of the interesting things that only just popped up just talking before to some other journalists was that Luke Roberts is tending to dominate in this show, and Pope Alice is taking
She's
a bit of
been
a
very
backseat.
quiet. Well, she might explode later on. Who knows? Is she making an appearance, or is that secret?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. No, it's been. It's taken a lot of energy to get this in place and to be up here. All exciting, all fantastic, but at the moment, I think Pope Alice would be just a bit excessive extra.
Yeah, I get it.
And she's also wanting her own book.
Yeah, exactly.
She's saying, well, Luke, it's time you grew up and flew out of the nest.
Well, I was thinking about Pope Alice when I came in, thinking all of this is so profound and incredible and complex, as I said earlier, but then there's Pope Alice. There is really not that much room for her here, which I think is quite great.
A lot of video.
She's dominating.
She's dominating the videos. But on the walls here, I've only really just realised that there's a lot more going on. And of course that's my practice. That's my...
And I've seen a lot of your work in books and photos, but to see it on the wall,
yes,
it is so fantastic.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about this piece? Obviously, it's a homage to other work, but you've done it in so many different ways. What does it mean to see this work here for you?
Well, it's a little unbelievable, but I'll probably tonight will sort of talk about how long, I'm of an age now, and I've been working as an artist since art school for 50 years.
Yes.
So to actually see it celebrating not only my work, but what's coming through, even for me, is how it's a celebration of this part of the world in central Queensland. Now, I've always wanted to make iconic images to say, look, you can make art anywhere. And whilst I grew up in Alpha thinking it's nowhere and no one's ever done anything here, of course the Aboriginal people weren't evident when I was a child, and I used to ask about what happened. So it was sort of like we were isolated.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a full bitumen road out. Over the range was treacherous.
Yeah.
And that's part of the title, you know, Beyond the Great Divide.
Yes.
Alpha is the other side of the Great Divide.
Yes.
Dividing range, but as you'd understand, the title is multifaceted. And so this is Beyond the Great Divide, or Out That Way, and that's Gladstone, the site, and this is Alpha, out of town. So whilst I'm referring to an American painting, Christina's World, that's another strategy I have of appropriation, to basically say, we're as good as anywhere else. You know?
Yes.
It's just that we've had a bit of an inferiority complex on so many levels.
Yes, yeah, for so long.
And so, you know, there's a family in these shots.
Right.
And that's the other thing that I'd like to think that comes across in this, like even here, family.
Yeah. It says so much about the place, you as a practicing artist, but also, I guess, about identity and the evolution
Yes.
of contemporary culture.
Yes.
I mean, when you first started to do this work, like that's evident over there and is profound, I guess the world, that hasn't changed, but the world around it has moved, which is really, thank goodness. Do you feel that, you know, that it sits in a different place now, your earlier works, which would have been very confronting back in its day?
Well, an example of the Alice Jitterbugs, I mean, that's the only second set in existence.
Right.
And the first set was only collected, you know, sort of less than 8 years ago. And that's from the 1970s. So it's taken that long for that work to enter a museum collection.
Right.
Although the larger one has been in UQ's collection, University of Queensland Art Museum, for some time. And the Alice Jitterbug head has been around.
Yes.
But the full set has never been collected, and until recently.
Yeah.
And so I'm fascinated by how times have changed.
Yes.
And I even find some of the current developments confronting to myself. I feel at times like the old father, grandfather of some of these younger people, think, oh my goodness, you know, they're making me think about gender and pronouns and all sorts of things that I hadn't given much thought to before, marriage as well.
Yeah.
And just by the way, I find these videos of myself very confronting.
Yeah.
I call them the Cromwellian warts and all that Nick did of me.
Yes.
And so it confronts my vanity.
Yes.
And so I like to see them as, I call them, you know, Nick with his camera orbiting planet Luke, so close up. And
Well, don't worry, I've got the magic light. We're going to look fantastic.
And that's okay. I'm just saying that going from Alice Jitterbug to this is a journey.
Life.
It's a journey.
Yeah, that is a journey.
Yes.
And finally,
And even here, just if I may, my dear Catholic mother,
oh, how fantastic.
who,
I love
who
that.
John Eliot called Pope Shirl, because she was so Catholic, would put on something that, and I'm not intending her to look like the devil at all. This is more to do with spiritual, holy people in a tribal situation, buffalo horns and things like that.
Yeah.
But that's what I play with, you know. But one of my sisters was a bit upset by that. How dare you make our mother into, I think she would have said my mother, into a devil. I think she's over it now.
And then you've got other, like, special guest stars.
Yes,
like
Richard.
Richard Bell.
Yes, who you know, generously gave of his image to my work. But see, this is what I've been trying to do.
So good.
Beck, you know, is we've got to have a dialogue.
Yeah.
We've got to get this between the Indigenous and the non-Indigenous, and that's an ongoing set of questions, and we've got to keep questioning. We've got to keep that discussion happening.
Absolutely. And finally, you know, you were so ahead of on so many levels in the way that you questioned identity and queerness and, as you're saying, even the relationship to First Nations people and culture. I know you can't say what you want people to experience by coming here, but what would you hope they would experience by being in this space with your work?
I'd like two things. I'd like them to feel comfortable about being here in this part of the world and comfortable with being who they are in this part of the world and feel, okay, I can do this too. I can liberate myself. I can be myself and feel more comfortable despite the heavy resistance that I think is still there.
Yeah, I agree.
To being who you are. Because I've met with some wonderful young people since a few days I've been installing the show. Well, I really only had to do the installation out there, but and that's been, and they're excited, you know,
yeah,
and they're delighted.
Yes.
And so the exhibition's already a success as far as I'm concerned.
So exciting. Well, congratulations, and just quickly saying hello to Pope Alice over here. She does make an appearance. She is present. She's always present. But I'm really, really happy for you. It's absolutely fantastic. And these coloured walls really pop it out. So magic.
That was Nick's idea.
Everyone will be doing it next, don't you worry. Well, congratulations. Tonight's the opening and we'll see you there.
Yeah, great.
Come and see it. Rockhampton rocks. And as I flew out of Rockhampton, I'm pretty sure I saw Pope Alice shining in the clouds like a circular rainbow.